Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Becoming CEO AF podcast. I'm your host, Kimba Garcia.
And I am your co-host, Amanda Bell.
And today we have our beautiful new friend, Dr. Remina Panjwani. Thanks for being here, Remina. I know that how many hours have you already been at the hospital today?
I am winding down on my last day on shift, 7 days on. So here's all that raw energy, the way I look, still dressed in scrubs.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. It's beautiful. How many hours are your shifts typically?
Supposed to be 7 to 7. So
12-hour shifts, 7 days.
7 to 7, yes.
I like that. That is a lot, sister.
Most nurses hardly get that in 2 or 3 weeks, and you just did it all back to back.
The way they do it, doctors are
Doctors
there
are back to back.
7 days straight, depending on the field. Yeah.
Way to go. Way to go.
That is it. So we originally met Dr. Remina because she came out to an event that we recently had, Your Awakening Journey. So that was the first time that we got to meet your energy in person. Obviously, we just hit it off. Now we're planning some events together. We're going to be doing a Yoga in the Park event where she is going to be doing a talk on holistic health. So we're super excited. We have that coming up October 29th. But we just absolutely had to bring you on the podcast because your work and everything that you do aligns so well with what we consider to be our mission in raising the vibration of the planet. And obviously a very important pillar is people understanding true health and the true superpower that we have so naturally, right? Not that there's not a place for medicine. Obviously, you're in the hospital pulling those shifts, right? And you're helping people when you're doing that. That's so important. But there's also another side to it. I think that, in my opinion, why I'm so grateful for you and what you do is because I think that we've gotten to a place in our society where there's a pill for a pill for a pill for a pill. And we've gotten to a place where we're constantly band-aiding up symptoms instead of getting to the root cause of what's truly going on with people. So super excited to have you on the podcast today because I know that a lot of our listeners align with your work and are going to be really interested in your story, sister. So will you back up and let's just kind of start with who were you? How did you become a doctor? I'm like, because you look too cute to be a doctor. Too beautiful and fun. No.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. And immediately when we met, I loved your energy. I loved y'all's vision. So I'm so glad we can start this journey together. So it actually, I'm trying to think back. It almost feels like a lifetime ago how I started, right? Like I wake up sometimes, how old am I?
Yeah.
Me too. Okay. Where did we leave off?
How old we are.
Oh,
Yeah. I feel the same.
I forget how old I am. Yes, but that's the beautiful part. We're all on this journey trying to be better versions of ourselves. So my journey started, my parents came here, we migrated here. So they came here to provide my brother and I for a better life. At that time, it was just survival. So I really had to figure things out on my own. Growing up, we were blessed with a whole bunch of things. But I think the values that they instilled really made me the person I am today. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for everything, the hardships, to make me and the person I am today. So with that being said, I had to kind of figure out my own journey. I figured out a way through the military. So as tiny as I am, yes, and feisty, I joined the Air Force and found my way through just myself. I was 18, got deployed to Iraq through security forces, so learned a lot, saw a lot. And it made me into this brave person that I don't think I could have ever been. It made me see a different world and really put my head on straight to really fight for your dreams and what you believe in. And so, it actually gave me the courage. I never thought I could be a doctor. I was never, again, filled with those the encouragement growing up or the resources. So I figured it out on my own. I built that confidence. I built the resources I needed and found my way through lots of course, help, support, great mentors, and found my way through doing medicine. So yes, the military helped me get through grad school, funding the resources for that, went to medical school, met great people, great mentors, and then, of course, did my residency in internal medicine right here in Fort Worth. So bringing me back to a circle where I started, and it's beautiful how it turned out. So, of course, after going to residency, jumped into my first job in the hospital setting, and of course, COVID hit. So I think that's where we were able to see the good and bad side of humanity, of corporate medicine in general. And I think that also really made me take a hard look at, am I living my fullest self? Something is missing because we're also burnt out as all types of healthcare providers. We're all burnt out. And yes, you're helping patients in the acute setting, but you're not really helping them long term. That's a component that I found that was missing. And I went to medical school, of course, wanting to help people through medicine, helping them heal and live a fulfilling life. And that's kind of the journey that I was looking for. That led me to think I need something more. So I looked through my roots of being an osteopathic physician, thinking of a person as a whole being, not just the body of organs being sick and symptoms. You're also including the mind, body, and spirit. And oftentimes in traditional medicine, you kind of exclude that, not always purposefully, but just because of the time being. And in the acute hospital setting, you really are set with the acute issue at that time, right? Like you need to put a bandage on it. Okay, you're having a heart attack. Well, let's just figure this out, what we have to do. You don't really have time to address everything else. Right. So if you get to root cause and start on root cause way upstream, you can kind of avoid being downstream. And so I came across functional medicine, and it gives you the tools and perspective to look through a different lens. And it really spoke to me because of all the things I believe in, right? Everyone is a person. A person is complex, and they have feelings. They have a mind, body, spirit. And you have to address all that along with also the traditional aspects of medicine, of being a human, of ailment or not, right? So I went through the Cleveland Clinic with Institute of Functional Medicine, and that just led me through a new pathway. And I'm excited for that because it's really fulfilling, and I geek out on it. I really do. I love it. And I love the people I meet. I love the new things that I learn every day, and I get to apply it. And so that's how I got here. Yeah.
Well, I just absolutely love that, sister. Would you speak a little bit more on coming from your military background, your healthcare background? Would you speak a little bit more on that missing component, that what you call the acute healthcare system, and that, which I understand what you mean by that, and I've never been in the medical field, so thank you for putting that simply for me. But the missing component that you said there is the mind and the spirit. Would you speak a little bit more on your thoughts on how the mind and the spirit correlate to our physical health?
Absolutely. So let's take the example. I love to use fatigue, right? Everyone is tired these days, and it's normal, but it's really not, right? We just accepted it as a society that fatigue is normal, and it's all connected, right? Of course, once you work up the traditional aspects, but there's more to it, right? Why are you always fatigued? Are you stressed? Are you anxious? What's going on? Because all of that, believe it or not, it's connected to your hormones. And so with traditional aspects, if you say, hey, I'm tired, doc, but my lab work looks great. Well, your lab work is it's just very basic, right? You might get something called the CBC or a BMP, maybe some iron, maybe vitamin D, just simple blood work. And of course, it's going to be fine. However, with the tools of functional medicine, because it's so personalized, you can dive into the specific biochemistry. So for instance, you look at cortisol. Traditional medicine will not consider cortisol. That's just one biomarker, right? So if your cortisol, your stress hormone, is completely off, it's going to affect all the other systems in your body. Your hormones, your male-female hormones will be off. You may start gaining weight, having a hard time to lose the weight. You might be always anxious and unable to calm down, or, all the different symptoms that are associated with it. And then, of course, you think about the mind, body, spirit. So an example I like to use for being stressed and anxious is your body doesn't really know the difference between the fight or flight, being chased by a bear response, which it is protective, but you need a period to relax. And if you're not relaxing, it will drive you into the mental, mental cycle of being stressed, anxious, mood disorders or whatnot. So you got to dive deeper into that, right? Is your mind unable to relax, and that's causing the same reaction that you're interpreting being chased by a bear? And so what's beautiful about that is there is something called biofeedback, and you could rewire also your brain to use all of these mechanisms that include like the holistic aspect, right? So you could do like breath work, right? Simple breath work, thinking certain things, right? Using yoga, meditation, breath work, whatever your release is, you could train yourself to rewire yourself. In a traditional aspect, if you say you're tired and then you have mood linked to it, you might get thrown medicine, right? You're putting a bandage approach. What's the root cause, right? Get to the root cause, and that will keep you happier and living longer. Longevity is the key, right? You're gonna age, but you want to age gracefully and be happy and keep up with the things that keep you going, right? And so that is one way you could just rewire yourself and use the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects. And that's where our journeys align. And I love that because these are things that should be considered, and it's almost easy in a sense. You don't need to always use medicine. Medicine is helpful, but you don't always have to do it that way. There's another way of doing it. You just have to use your advanced labs along with your lifestyle and figure out what works with you. Yeah.
I love that. And that is exactly what CEOAF stands for. So I heard you say a lot of things from, the mind, body, and the spirit, the soul, but you are also aligning with the NLP side that Canva offers at CEOAF, which is the rewiring of the mind, right? Rewired by Dr. Joe Dispenza is what we make all of our people watch, because I think it's great. But then you walk them through the practices of ways to physically get that done. So if you find yourself in that state for so long, we all know that we get addicted to it. So then we're naturally waking up to it, and I could hear you walking them step by step. So pretty much if you'll just live a really fun life that you enjoy, you'll age backwards, you know what I'm saying? And then prolong that process. But then how do you do it if you truly are in that state of depression, blah, blah, and you're like, man, do your breath work. Get up and do your yoga. Get up and do this. Get up and do that. And it's like, gosh, that is 100%. They'll come to us stressed out on the phone all the time. I'm like, first question every time Kimba's saying, well, when's the last time you meditated? When's the last time you... And that is...
Are you sleeping? Right? What are you thinking about? We at CEOAF, we have what we call our thought audits. And I love what you said, because you're like, you have to think different things, right? Yeah. And that's our thought audits, or our emergency e-break, if you will, that it's like, okay, what am I thinking about right now? Does that serve me? Do I need to repeat this thought? Because we also know about 80% of the 60,000 thoughts we have a day are the same thoughts we already had yesterday. Yeah. Right? So we get in that cycle of repeating the thought. And when we do that, we release the cortisol. Now we're addicted to cortisol, and that's what I call the hamster wheel. Now you're stuck in the hamster wheel, and you're busy getting nowhere, right? Yeah. And in turn with that, you're making yourself sicker. Yeah. So we're getting away from the goal of happiness, of security, of stability, right?
So then taking it one more step back, you guys, how does somebody who's in our shoes, who just got off a 7-day, 12-hour-a-day work shift, who just got done running, Lord knows what, personal and business, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does somebody even begin to look this stuff up to get introduced to it? Because the truth is if you just see somebody doing breath work, or you just see somebody doing a yoga practice or a meditation out in public, you don't see it at the local parks. You know what I mean? So how are people being
like, you do now?
Yeah, you do now. Yeah, we actually have 2 yoga in the park, similar events coming up. Dr. Remina has one tomorrow in the Plano Frisco area, correct?
Yes.
And then we're all 3 going to be doing one together. I say all 3. I'm there for moral support. but they're going to be hosting the whole
She's
event.
sitting with the sound bowls. She don't know yet. But
Yeah, maybe singing with sound bowls. Ooh,
Maybe
guys are
some
in for a
cacao.
treat.
How about some cacao?
I'll bring the cacao and serve you up. I'll tell you about it. We'll pray over it and everything. But how beautiful. So how does somebody come back in? Because you can't see it everywhere you go, right? It's not as, so how, what are they Googling? What are they searching?
Yeah.
How do you find you?
So really, it's about word of mouth and getting out there. You could Google people because there's a lot of practitioners out there, different backgrounds. I'm personally internal medicine green, so I'm a physician background. There are other practitioners, some with being a chiropractor, mid-levels, such as nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and so forth. So everyone has a different personality. Everyone has a different approach in what they offer. So with me, as I'm building, I'm hoping more word of mouth gets out. I'm out here building new relationships and partnerships. And I guess what you could say is what package I would bring is, well, my personality. I love people and I click well, and I'm a great listener, and I really will find what is unique to you because it's a personalized approach. And one size does not fit all. And it's going to be where the person is at, meet you where you're at. Well, yes, if you're busy, you're not going to really realistically have time to sleep well, maybe not eat right, maybe you don't have time for stress relief, maybe you're not out there able to build a community, but there are things you could do. You can make small steps, make small conscious steps, and it will become a lifestyle, it will become a habit. You just need to be guided by the right person, the right team. And what I offer is actually, I think, a unique aspect. So, you know, I also have a background in nutrition, so I can help you out nutrition-wise and meet you where you're at with that. You don't have to be on a certain strict calorie diet. We can start small. You don't have to make it complicated. Same thing with movement, exercise, call it what you want, right? And what else? People that that dive into this aspect. You could do all the things to balance you out medicine-wise, but you also have to do the internal work, right? Because a lot of it is mind, right? And body and spirit. And so if you look at, for instance, today, everyone is anxious, right? So I believe there was a stat out there around 65% of anxiety is tied into underlying trauma. So trauma is different for everyone. Sometimes people do have really obvious trauma, and, you know, I feel for that. But there's also micro traumas. You know, if you look at where you grew up, the things you were exposed to, maybe you had a lot of expectations or, you know, perfectionism, whatnot, that will display itself into adulthood. And so until you resolve that underlying trauma, you will never really truly get to root cause, you know, and it will be a somatic manifestation with what you feel physically, right? And so there's different ways to release that trauma. Sometimes I would say a lot of the common suggestions may not work. Maybe working out, exercise, yoga, meditation, breath work, or even doing sound bath. Maybe that's not it for you, but it's there, it's an option. So let's take it a step further. Let's get creative. So I've teamed up with some great people that do art therapy and really are trauma trained. So there's art therapy to release it. There's a different way to not just
I love that.
It's great.
Oh, I love that. And now that you say that, I ran across an Instagram page, I forgot to tell you the other day, where there was a lady who was teaching people, because, you know, I've been working on my vocals, talking about singing in the part, teaching new beginners, because I'm like, how do you Google how to become a singer? Like, what do you do there? You know what I mean? But I'm like, you better start working on those, Amanda, because you're off. Literally Googled it, and this whole lady, she has a whole like Instagram and TikTok page where she's giving you the tutorials on how to find the pitches, and I just think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so great. She's like, when you're doing that, when you're using your vocals, you're actually shaking up that throat chakra a little bit, which allows it to be more free and not stay as congested as sometimes it can be. So for me, I love that she's tying it into the whole practice into, hey, a mind, body, soul alignment.
Yeah.
I'm like, lady, you're great.
I love that.
So I'm like, I want to sing.
And there's more to that, actually. There's something called the vagus nerve. And so a lot of people will gargle or try to sing or try to relax. And it's because of that vagus nerve to tap into that resting phase, not your fight and flight phase. So there's more to it. I think we should all just start singing.
Okay, y'all want me to go first?
Well, Rebecca was sharing that at your awakening journey, like on the hum,
The
that
humming,
we do,
yes.
and the humming that we do, that it relaxes the vagus nerve. And I think it's really cool. And that's why I just love that you're here. I'm so pumped that you're on the podcast. Because I love being able to correlate everything that we do back to science. That's how I came into it. I came in really just geeking out on quantum physics, right? Which led me into metaphysics. But then I got certified as a yoga instructor because it changed my life getting into it. So I'm like, I can lead some other people through how to do these moves. In fact, y'all are welcome. Come on, everybody to the grass. And then I just recently started getting into the sound bowls and just different modalities of doing it. But I followed that path in with the science. Then I ended up becoming an NLP practitioner a couple of years ago, which is the neuro-linguistic programming. So how the language applies to the way that our brains are wired and structures the operational systems in which we exist through. And then that manifests into our life. And sometimes when we use the words like meditation or manifest, people are like, well, that's some woo-woo stuff. That's some woo-woo stuff. But when you hear the perspective from the doctors, when you understand what is the humming doing, and when we talk about holistic health, that's what we're talking about, taking our power back into our own hands with the beautiful tools that God already gave us, the universe already provided us with within our own bodies to be able to heal ourselves. There's a place for medicine, of course, but we can do so much of it without the pill if you want to, if you choose to. And I think that that's the more that I've pushed into it. I actually forgot to tell you, sister, but I want to get trauma trained because I've realized that a lot of the people that are coming into our spaces and that are being called to these modalities, some of them didn't know that they had trauma until it was time to start releasing it. And they're like, there's a lot in here.
Exactly.
There's a lot in here to get through. And on the other side of that, it gives me goosebumps to talk about because it's freeing, it's life-changing. And a lot of people worded us, man, once you see this, you can unsee it, right?
Yeah.
Once you start to feel the freedom of healing your trauma and the mind, body, and spirit improvements that you see along the way, it's really powerful stuff. And so I've realized, I'm like, if I'm going to be leading some of this stuff, I need to get a trauma.
I think that'll be so great.
Yeah, thank you. Because I just decided that like a week ago.
No, you should do it. You should do it. And and that leads into even more, right? A lot of people won't really realize there is underlying trauma, underlying, as traditional medicine labels it, mental disorders or whatever the case is, right? But you got to get to your cause.
Yes.
And so another way that even manifests itself is GI symptoms. There's so many people I come across, they're like, everything I eat, I'm just, backed up. I can't eat certain things. You think about it. Well, how are you sleeping? How are you stressed? Because those things will come up even more when those things are off.
That happens to me every time we go out of country. Every time. I'm like, why is my body scared right now? What are you doing? Don't store that. Don't you dare store that. Because my body tells me before anything. Like you can feel it when you're off. You're like, oh shoot, what are we about to work through? And are we gonna have fun still?
Well, can I eat all the good things still?
That is. I love it. You just brought that up because that's why our core values are what they are. I mean, they are with intention. Keep it weird. Life's a little bit weird. It's fine.
I love it.
You're fine.
That's where you see people's authentic self. And you should always be your authentic self.
That's right. And it's more freeing and more healing for yourself to be able to be yourself. Like
it feels good.
Those are those micro traumas we're talking about when you're constantly having to feel like you got to be somebody else. You got to be somebody else. You're literally just working against yourself all the time. Like God made you who you are. You are beautiful. You are perfect. You are divine. Like be that, please. And be as weird as it comes with because we need all those little quirks. Like that's why I'm out loud with it. I'm like, y'all have to get used to me. God made me this way. You know what I'm saying?
When I will walk into a place, I have to share this story with you because I have a feeling. Well, I already know we're going to be spending like literally the next 3 or 4 days together, and then we're going to be together the next week, and then we're going to be together the next week again. So listen to this. Kim and I go to this concert one time. It's a heavy metal concert. It's my first one to ever go to, and I'm pumped. I drove all the way up in Boston. I'm talking the net. This cape. The guy at the front's like, I love your outfit. And I'm like, and my friends?
What do you think about my friend?
we're a package deal. And he kind of looks at her and he's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, told you. Long story short, we walk in with so much confidence when we're like fully aligned and doing our thing. We go to the bathroom on our way out, literally skip the whole ass long line, the whole line, and go straight in the exit to a toilet and pop a squat, come back out. Call her up, we're in and out in seconds, after a
We did that 2 or 3 times.
Well, I didn't know that we were doing that, but we walked in like we owned the place, and not one lady in that line watched us walking through the exit ever said anything. I was like, I am so sorry. We just got in front of all of y'all. We didn't really know what we were doing, and none of y'all stopped us. The whole line saw us walking up.
It was the confidence.
But then you go along with have fun, right? Like
Exactly.
laugh,
Yeah.
have fun. Like, because what we're doing when we're having fun and we're laughing is we're releasing serotonin. We start to produce the chemicals that our brain produces when we feel joy, when we feel peace, when we, we're in. That's what yoga helps us produce.
Yes.
That's what the sound bowls help. That's what meditation helps us produce is the chemicals that are going to start acting against the cortisol. And to be able to get to, I love that you've talked so much about people with mental health issues, because I think that that's a place in society that's so heavily judged. And it's almost, you go to the doctor to discuss that nowadays and you get put on some type of pill. That's, I mean, we want to
That you
get
almost
that.
can't come back from, to be
Yeah.
completely honest.
It's a real, I'm like, you want to talk about a
That's a bigger
pandemic?
struggle than the
Yes.
like that Band-Aid doesn't work. In my opinion, I've seen it firsthand. I am no medical doctor. You go ahead.
So yes, I mean, and that's the thing. It takes time to get to root cause. So
Yeah.
people have to be willing to work at it. It's not going to be a quick bandage,
Yeah.
right? It's not going to be, hey, here's a pill, and then more pills.
And the whole time, you guys said the whole time, we actually all came together from a VIP. So you guys already know, Kim and I have talked about the VIP list with CEOAF and the business owners a lot, but from a VIP is how we met Dr. Remina, right? So a VIP was like, y'all have to meet this beautiful soul. Everything you guys are about, like, completely aligns. As soon as I could feel her energy through a text, I was like, "Whoo, she's here! This one's here!" So I'm so excited to be with you. But you guys, that's the power of the referral network that she's talking about. So a lot of us didn't know who to Google, how to look it up, all the things. Honest to God, Kim and I were talking out front earlier today. We did not know 100% what functioning medicine was really,
Yeah.
or what, for me, even the holistic side. I'm like, because using the word holistic, sometimes I can feel it. People are like,
Like, what is that?
yeah, what are we doing?
What are we doing over there?
Yeah. So I love that you guys have just brought the light to it all the way together, all the way from the resource of it. Because sometimes that's the other piece, right? Sometimes I listen, or people will listen and they won't know. Yeah, but who are you to say what?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got a lot of life experience personally, and I went ahead and took the doctorate, took the PhD, took the pieces of the puzzle that it makes sense to truly sit back and be like, well, they're having fun while they're sharing a lot of really important stuff. So something's got to be worth it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the biggest takeaway that you can get from here, what is functional medicine, right? So I like to compare just briefly bullet points, right? Traditional medicine versus functional medicine.
Yes.
And like I said, I do both, right? I do the acute care, but that's, my day job. So
Yeah. We love our day job. It's very important.
it's important, especially if you're having a heart attack, please go to the ER. And then we can address everything else.
Later.
Exactly.
But please address it later.
Yes, exactly.
Don't leave yourself in the same situation that led you there to begin with.
Exactly.
Right? That's the thing.
And the thing is, functional medicine can fit for everyone. So traditional medicine, symptoms-based, quick, like 5-minute bandage approach, just standard lab, standard treatments for everyone. Functional medicine, personalized. My visits with you, you're going to get a full assessment. I look at everything. You're going to get, at least that first visit is like 60 minutes to 90 minutes. We go through everything.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm signing up, by the way. She already knows that.
And you get, I'll talk about that too. You get special, access to me. And all the amazing tools that you'll get with that. So you also get advanced labs because everyone is unique. Advanced labs, you look at a deep dive into lifestyle because everyone is unique. And you don't have to necessarily be, I would say, sick per se. Yes, that's great. If you haven't been feeling well, you're off balance. Well, let's get to root cause. What's going on, right? And if you are mostly feeling well, but you want to age well, you want to have longevity, there's things you could do, right? You could optimize your wellness. One example I like to use is if you look at, I would say muscle is such an organ that is not emphasized in just out there mainstream, right?
Yeah.
And it is the muscle of longevity. As you age, you do lose muscle. So you want to maintain that. And, and that's important, right? Like what are exactly right? And after you become a mom, all those things change. But you want to change your body composition the right way. Things that are sustainable to you. So if you look at traditional medicine, the RDA for protein, it's like 0.8 grams per kilogram. That's just there to not be deficient, right? To optimize, to be awesome and change your body comp into age well. So you have less of fall risk and all of those things that will end you up in the hospital as you age. There's things you could do. You need at least ballpark. There's so much research out there that says you need at least 1.5 grams per kilogram to optimize. Are you doing the right exercises? Are you doing a mixture of high intensity? Are you doing resistance? Are you giving your mind body a rest? Are you stretching, yoga, restoring? All that is important. And so there's things you could do to optimize and have a better, healthier life. So I truly see everyone. It's personalized medicine. The only thing I ask is, are you ready? Are you ready to work on yourself? Because I will guide you. I can help you, but it's going to be up to you. Are you there? You got to do the work, right?
And I would really say that health is the true wealth. I mean, if you don't have your health, then nothing else really matters that much, right? And so, Dr. Remina, the other thing, I'm gonna be honest with you, sister. You just blew my mind on so many things. Like, it sounded expensive, right? Like functional medicine, it sounds expensive.
It does.
When we went out to dinner, I just asked you that point blank, right? I'm like, what do you charge?
Yeah.
We're talking business structure and marketing and stuff. So I'm like, what are we charging people, right? And when I found out the price of what it costs, because it's a subscription base that you're doing, just to kind of give them a peek at the program, a subscription base. But it was honestly, I was looking at it and I was like, man, people spend more than that on Starbucks.
Absolutely.
Every month.
Or even if you just go to your traditional medicine physician or whatnot, your copay is like flat $180 in addition to the insurance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So yeah, invest in your health. So yeah, check out the website, www.drremina.com. I can't even say that. My tongue is tied. www.drremina.com. Keeping it simple.
Oh, I know that. It's drremina.com. So, and it's REMINA.
Yes.
Remina.
Remina.
Like, beautiful.
So beautiful. I just love your whole soul so much, Dr. Remina. I can see us being lifelong friends, no doubt.
I feel it too.
I wanted to end this by telling you, I say end, like the party never ends. Y'all stick around for the next episode, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wanted to end this by saying we've literally prayed for you to come into our tribe. We really have. We started the Spirit of Agape, which is our new 501c3. And one of the pillars that I was given, if you will, that we were really going to, not that we're leading, right? I'm not a doctor, but like I am studying for my PhD right now, and I'll be a minister on this side of it over here for metaphysical science. But one of the key pieces to this overall mission that we knew was really important in forming that out was the holistic health piece, was bringing people back to true wellness, was really getting to the root cause of it. We didn't know who in the tribe, if you will, was going to lead that mission 100%. But we knew that we would manifest that beautiful soul that aligned with our tribe and our vibe, and really appreciated bringing this type of education to people in a way that, of course, it's business, right? But there's a difference in somebody that truly has a passion for humans and the impact that they were sent here to make. And we see that in you. And so when you popped up, I was like, That's her. That's the one that we literally asked to be here to help to be able, because our goal in this is to create podcasts like we are now and to help your mission really get out there more, right? To help people understand that this is an option for them, that they do have resources outside of the traditional healthcare system if that's not what's feeling right to them anymore. And I know for a lot of people, I have family members right now that are going through different chronic illnesses, and they do feel that the standard healthcare system is not 100% of what they need. Now they're grateful for what they're getting, but they know that there's something more. They know that there's a root cause underneath that. And so having a resource that we can send those people back to, because our health is our wealth, what more important thing could we be focused on? So I'm grateful for you, sister.
So
Yes,
grateful.
I'm grateful for y'all too.
It's beautiful. So you guys make sure that you head over to Dr. Remina's website. She does free consultations, guys. And if you, what are those? Is that a 30-minute consultation?
15, 20 minutes
15,
discovery
20 minutes.
call, see if we can work together,
Yeah.
what your goals
So to
are.
spend 15, 20 minutes with Dr. Remina would be a pleasure to anybody's day, truly. So I would recommend that you guys go over to her website, just book that free call, right? And go from there. But it doesn't hurt to collect your resources, know your options out there, especially when it comes to something like our health. All of us are running around all the time, worried about building wealth, building businesses, building our employees, all of the things that we're worried about all the time. We have to make sure that we take care of the vessel that supports that, and that is ourself, mind, body, soul. Love you guys so much, and we will see you on the next episode of the Becoming CEO AF podcast.
Bye.
Bye.